How's it going, everybody? So today we're going to get into a trade recap. This is a trade that I did take live with my team. It was called out on my live stream, and I actually booked about $1,200 profit on this. So decent money day. I mean, anything over $1,000 to me is a big money day. I'm happy with that. So obviously this is the trade right here. Now we caught about 50 points on this, about 48 points. That's a decent move on the NASDAQ, right? Like on one contract or 10 micros, that's $1,000 trade. You know what I mean? Like that's a decent move. So it's a good enough move where you don't have to have size on and you can still bank some profits, right? So let's just get into it. So really what I'm looking for with this type of trade is I want the news candle print, okay? This is basically me trading the news and kind of how I trade it. So let's just go back here. You can see we have this big, massive news candle, right? So this is the 8:30 news candle print. Now this is CPI data. Okay, so I want that news candle to form. And if we go on the 1 minute time frame, you can see we take this upside liquidity. So that's one thing I like to see happen. I want to see this news candle print to the upside, right? I want to see a little pullback like this and then push back up and take that liquidity. Okay, so when I say that liquidity, I'm just talking about this high on the news candle. Okay, so once I see that happen, then I want to draw out my 50% range from that news candle. So I do that by drawing my fib tool from the swing low to the swing high of that news candle. Okay, so that's my Fibonacci retracement from the swing low right up here to the swing high there. So how I'm going to trade this is I'm looking for a short back down to that retracement zone. So I want to see price come down, maybe trade up, you know, give us our entry, and then I take the trade down to that 50% retracement. So this is what I'm trying to capitalize on, the move back down to that discount range. Because a lot of the times what will happen is we'll get these big explosive moves on these news candles. We'll sweep that liquidity, we'll come down, tap discount, and then continue higher. It's basically trading down to rebalance price before continuation higher. Now, if we go below this, then I expect us to come down and take this low. But I'm really just looking for this trade right here. I'm trying to capitalize on that move down to discount. So now this is how I get my entry. We'll just play price for a minute. Now this is on the 2 minute time frame, okay? This is on the 2 minute time frame, the M2. I usually trade on the M2, sometimes the M5. I do have the 1 minute on my top screen, but mainly the M2 is where I get for most of my entries for, okay? So I'm just gonna play price here. And what I'm looking for is an inversion fair value gap. Okay, so I'm looking for some type of FVG to get invalidated and then a push to the downside. So let me frame the trade out. So basically I want to see price come up, create a fair value gap, and then push down and invalidate that fair value gap. Okay, and then continuation down to that range. So on the push up, this would be our fair value gap right here. So when price comes down and closes through that fair value gap, it tells me that price is probably not going to go higher. We're going to continue lower. Okay, and that's where I want to take my entry, right there. So if we hop over to the chart here, you can see that's exactly what we get, right? We have this bullish fair value gap right here. Okay, this is a bullish fair value gap. So if we see price tap this and go higher, then there's no trade, right? But we don't get that. What we get is a candle close right through here. Okay, boom. That shows that fair value gap's been invalidated. It's an inversion fair value gap now. And I like to see these sharp V moves. I like to see a push up and then extreme movement invalidating that. So those are pretty aggressive candles invalidating that fair value gap, right? So you can even enter when we push through that bottom box of the fair value gap, but I like to wait for a close just so it shows me that's invalidated. So there's our entry right there. And our target is just this 50% range. Okay, that's all we target. Our stop would be just above this swing high right here. Okay, so it's a pretty simple trade. You know, all we're doing is waiting for the news candle to print. Okay, this news candle to print. We then want to see this high get taken. And then we want to see some type of inversion. And notice we don't have anything in here. All this price action doesn't give us any entry, right? We have a fair value gap here, but we invalidate it. We then create this fair value gap, which gets invalidated right here. That triggers our entry. So there's no trade in here. There's no trade in here. And if we do come down, and tap this discount range, then we just don't have a trade, right? Then we look for something to the upside. Okay, so that's the trade right there. And I usually scale out 90% at this low because on these news days, we can get aggressive price delivery back to the upside once we rebalance to a discount range. And we'll just play price, and you can see that was a perfect exit. Look at that. We hit that, and then boom, started putting in higher lows and continue higher, right? So that's why we don't mess around and try and get a huge move out of this. Also, this is like 40 points, 40, 50 points. That's a decent move. I'm completely content with that, right? But we actually come down and tap discount again here, and then look, we continue higher. So, but this is the move. This is the move we want to capitalize on right here. We want to capitalize on that first push down to discount. Okay, so just wanted to review this trade with you guys. It's something that I trade all the time. I kind of call this my news liquidity sweep model. It's a news candle model that I trade when these high impact news days come, like CPI, NFP. I don't really trade it on FOMC, usually just NFP and CPI. But you know, it's a great strategy to trade, and I really hope that this helps you guys a little bit in you know, finding your edge in the market. And hopefully you guys can see this and take the same trades.